With the introduction of Generation 6, the Fairy type has kept on proving itself as one of the most uniquely powerful types in Pokémon. With its valuable immunity to Dragon, who were known to dominate the metagame, and their amazing diverse roles, players could never go wrong with a Fairy type in their team. Which is why in today's video, we will be testing out just how great they are by putting them in a Pokémon Brick Bronze Hardcore Nuzlocke using only the Fairy type, where any Pokémon that faints has to be boxed forever and no items can be used at all. So without further ado, I select my starter Pokemon, which is none other than Popplio, that I name Bloom. And even though it is a water type now, meaning I cannot use it, I won't have to worry too much because I am forced to undergo 2 mandatory battles with Popplio before finding an actual Fairy type in Cheshire Town. Of course, this sequence here is recorded on a Saturday because every Saturday in Cheshire Town it is possible to encounter one of the Fairy types here in the forms of Milcery or Fido, and I end up getting the Donut Doggo, which I nicknamed Stella. So now with the Fairy type on our team, do we actually manage to start the run, and it begins with defeating Linda with quite some ease, and then crossing the bridge to Route 3 and eventually after into Sylvan City. I pick up the Eevee from the elderly couple, and then I am forced to go battle Chad and his electric types. Even though this may count as cheating, I had to lead with Eevee for this one because of Shinx's Intimidate making matters impossible due to the attack drop and Fido not having good moves to deal with any of them, so once I get rid of Intimidate, I swap into Stella on a tackle that deals 5 HP, and then on the next turn I can use Tail Whip to lower some of Shinx's defense as I eat a critical hit tackle on the next turn, making me worry a little bit. On the next turn however, Shinx opts to use Charge after I hit it with a Bite, so the next bite guarantees me the kill. And then once Pikachu is out, I go for another Tail Whip after I'm hit by a soft Quick Attack, so that on the next turn, I'm able to land a bite without taking damage because of Charge Beam missing. But matters take a turn for the worse as Static paralyzes me, and Pikachu goes for Charge Beam, dealing way too much damage, leaving me at just 11 HP as I get completely paralyzed the next turn. Luckily, he does not get the special attack buff, but I wasn't sure if I will survive another one, so I pray that I survive the next one. And our little Donut Doggo survives on just 1 HP and is able to land the final bite in order to win us the Arc Badge. Who's a good girl? You are! After I receive the RTD from Jake, I make sure to stop by the trade resort in order to receive a friendship ribbon since obtaining one requires battle points from the shop, and I can make Eevee hold it as I level it up once so that it can evolve into Sylveon, with which she is a great addition to the team thanks to its solid special defense stat, and I head to Route 4 where I can find another Terra type in the form of Meryl that I name Musa. And then into Route 5 where I can also evolve Popplio into Brionne and even Meryl into Azumarill, and meet up with Jake again by the entrance of Brimber City where Sylveon just sweeps him with ease, allowing me to enter the city and meet with the gym leader, of which I'm sent to Route 6 and eventually into Mount Igneous. Despite the fact most of the grunts have poison or fire types, the team is actually solid enough to hold their own against them, including the admin who can get destroyed by Fido with a couple bites, Vullaby is kissed goodnight with Sylveon, and the same is applied to Lunatone, who cannot touch me even with Psywave. So after thwarting their plans, I head back towards the second gym where I challenge Sebastian's fire types, who is complete light work because of Azumarill possessing huge power and learning a powerful move like Aqua Tail, breezing past his fire types with ease to not only evolve Fido into a Dotspun afterwards, but earn myself the Brimstone badge. Thanks to the species and dupes clause, Route 7 now allows me to ignore the encounter against Meryl here and find a Rolls instead that I capture and name Aisha. And then I make my way to the Lumberjack shack to fix the dam here, being able to evolve the Rolls into a Kirlia, and then I reach Laguna Lake. Of course, per usual, I do go diving for some items here, but to also find another potential Fairy type for the run, even though this requires some luck to find, which forces me to spend some Robux here for batteries so that eventually I am able to find a fossilized egg here, which I can revive back in order to receive a Togepi egg, to which I am able to hatch and I name it Tekna. And I can continue to Route 8 where I engage in some 2v2 battles with Jake, that ends up going horribly wrong because I look away for 1 second to notice that my Curlia died here against some of this guy's birds, which made me really frustrated because I was so excited to use Gardevoir in this run, but you really can't get what you want.
Yes you can! You should have just paid more attention, you idiot!
Man, shut up!
I am able to evolve Brionne into a fairy type, finally becoming a Primarina, and the same is applied to Togepi, who now becomes a Togetic, and I can reach Rose Cove City where I head towards the lighthouse to deal with some Team Eclipse grunts, with which Togetic surprisingly deals with easily, considering it keeps getting on Omni Boost with Ancient Power. And Kyogre does its usual habit of blasting away the team before I can finally head towards the 3rd gym to challenge Quentin's water types. With the team now at level 37, the plan was rather easy since I lead with Dot Spun to use Work Up here twice, and then after I get low on health, I use Baton Pass here to not only switch out my Dot Spun easily, but also move my stat buffs to Sylveon, who can proceed to kiss each and every single Pokemon he has goodnight and earn myself the Float badge. As I meet with Tess and Jake here, both of which stand no chance against Primarina, I head towards the Grove of Dreams in the hopes of finding a specific Pokemon here, despite the fact there are 2 options I can catch, with one of them being more common than the other. I cannot even describe the joy I felt in that moment when my encounter ends up being the Impidimp instead of the common Snubbull here, and I happily catch it, naming it Darkheart. Having a Dark and Fairy type with me is super valuable, making the Ghost and Psychic types more fathomable in this game. Then I head to Route 10 and visit the garden so that I can find another teammate, this time being a Floette that I name Roxy, and then I dash towards Mount Quagonos, killing the mines, and even in the middle of doing so, Impidimp evolves into Morgrim, and not too long after into Grimmsnarl, and upon reaching the peaks, I can pick up the shiny stone behind the statue that also allows me to evolve my Togetic into Togekiss finally. And then I can fly towards Anthean City. Of course, after I finish speaking with Gerald, I backtrack a little to head towards the arcade here, since I can find another fairy type that I wanna have on the team, which is the Hatena. But first, I need to play this Hammer Arm minigame and get a perfect score of 300 to unlock it, but I think we all remember what happened the last time I ever got to try this stupid minigame, and this time was legitimately no different than before. That is until... and I can finally purchase the Hatena, naming it Aethris. Soon I am able to evolve it in the 4th gym into a Hatchrim, and before challenging the gym leader, the plan was pretty much the same here, where I lead with Dotspun here being able to set up a couple workups against the Staraptor, and once I am at low health, I can Baton Pass everything into Sylveon yet again, being able to spam Draining Kiss and Moonblast on everything Stephen has, although his second Staraptor does manage to end up using Whirlwind, sending my Primarina out instead, and it unknowingly hits me with a pretty hard fly here before falling to a single Hyper Voice. And because I can't afford to lose a Primarina here, I make the switch into Togekiss as Steven ends up using a superpower on it, lowering its attack and defense. So from here I can click Ancient Power and Air Slash to take down the Braviary and easily earn the Soaring badge. As I meet with Tess in the sewers, just spamming Sparkling Area my way until Hatchrim is able to evolve into a Hatterene, I manage to go to the park trying to rescue Jake, although I am forced to battle Cypress in the process. After switching out from Absol into Togekiss here on an incoming Solar Beam, I end up not getting the flinch from Air Slash, so I get hit by it for some soft damage, before being able to take down Venusaur. Feraligatr here is flinched by the Air Slash I use, and in the next turn it ends up using Screech, so it too falls with ease. And Blaziken is fragile enough so a single Air Slash is enough for the kill. While Torterra does threaten me with Stone Edge, it ends up falling to a singular Air Slash, and as Samurott comes out, I just switch out into Hatterene in order to gain some extra EXP for it, before switching again into Sylveon as it goes for Dig, forcing me to take some damage next turn before I retaliate with a Moonblast healing half of its health, and then finishing it off properly in the next turn. Last was his Delphox, which is where I switch out Hatterene once again, getting hit by a Dazzling Gleam in the process, and then switching into Grimmsnarl here as Delphox uses Calm Mind, which would have been scary, but I just end up using Sucker Punch here, easily knocking out the Delphox and defeating Cypress, with Dialga and Palkia sending me back in time to stop the Bomber, of which I managed to do. As I head back to the entrance of Athenian City in order to head toward the peaks once more and down the Skytrain, I travel through Route 11 until I'm at Iridia City, and then soon after into Old Iridia, where I can find the prince inside the ruins, to which I assist him with Team Eclipse, and then I unlock access to the 5th gym, which I head and begin digging down the ground in search for the gym leader, challenging his ground types. As per usual, I lead with Dotspun here to set up some more cups, being able to get to +3, and then I baton pass into Grimmsnarl, and the reason I did not give Primarina or Azumarill the buffs was because even though they have the type advantage, they are still slow enough that Excadrill can threaten them with Poison Jab and even his final Pokemon. Therefore, I needed a Pokemon that can still outspeed them somehow, to which Grimmsnarl destroys Quagsire, holds its own against Steelix, only getting hit by a Bulldoze lowering my speed, but that's no issue because the incoming Claydol only has attacking moves, allowing me to hit a Sucker Punch for the kill, and the same is applied to Excadrill as well. And because Mega Garchomp here is not in a range of a KO here with Bulldoze, I'm safe to use Play Rough here for the clean kill and earn myself the Crater Badge. On Route 12 there is nothing I can find here, so I head to Route 13 immediately, and because I am too lazy to find the necessary unknowns in order to access the Chamber of Jewels and find a Tinkatink here, I end up skipping on that encounter and I head towards Floroma City, where I have nothing to do than head towards the gym, since after I solve the puzzle here, the gym leader can only beg for mercy because after I kill his Leavanny with Hatterene and switch into Togekiss here, I actually end up getting the Omni Boost with Ancient Power, and I just click Air Slash for free, destroying his entire team for an easy harvest badge. With Tess giving me Rock Climb to navigate through Route 14, I have an encounter with Team Eclipse here, not even swinging on them, including Jake, even though he almost knocked out my Sylveon here, but I'm able to just get past. To which I enter Route 15 and traverse through the snowy mountain until I reach Frostvale City, where I just grow lazy on training my fairy types here, and seeing what Togekiss has made me comfortable in challenging Zeke's dark types. The Honchkrow doesn't die by a Dazzling Gleam, and I try to fish for an Omni Boost, but I do not get it, and Crocodile here hits me with a soft Fire Fang, so one Dazzling Gleam is enough for the kill. Bisharp is dead to a singular Aura Sphere here, and the Umbreon just goes for a questionable Assurance, so 2 Dazzling Gleams seals the deal. The second Crocodile is outsped and falls to 1 Dazzling Gleam, and finally was Mega Houndoom, who I end up switching to Stella here on an incoming Dark Pulse, but against my bitter judgment, she gets hit with a critical hit Dark Pulse, marking the end of our donut pup who's been with us since the start. Rest in peace, my precious girl. At least with her downfall, she's able to get Primarina out as Zeke goes for a strange Dark Pulse, while I am able to hit it with a sparkling Aria that doesn't kill. And on the next turn he hits me with a dangerous Sludge Bomb that could have cost me my Primarina too if it got a critical hit, but luckily I survive and a Moonblast is able to earn me the Contrast Badge. With Stella's downfall, this now calls for a specific encounter I had in mind, though first thing I needed to do was smoke the life out of Tessa's dragons here with my fairies, and I slide down the mountain, entering Cosmos Valley in order to find a Cottony here that I catch and name Caramel, and then I can reach into Port Deca, where I receive the HM for Surf, and then I can evolve Caramel into a Whimsicott, training it just high enough alongside her teammates, and surfing my way through Route 17 until I finally reach Crescent Town, where I easily locate the hideout for Team Eclipse, and I infiltrate their base until I'm able to reach the control room, where I slaughter the guard there and unlock access to where my parents are held captive until I try rescuing them, which is stopped by a battle against Jake, of which it just goes as you would expect it to. So then I make a dash towards Route 18, go down the outpost, and eventually into the Demon's Tomb. Cypress unlocks the seal and I am forced to put an end to him, only this goes way too easy since all I need to do is lead with Grimmsnarl here, set up a couple bulk ups on it because the only attacking moves it has is Water Shuriken and Shadow Sneak, and once I'm at +3, I am able to just click every single move Grimmsnarl has in its arsenal to sweep past his whole team, including his Mega Charizard X, and as he gets tossed into the Shadow Realm by John Cena! And then having the fate of the world in my hands as I battle Hoopa, of which is just a complete cakewalk because I just toss a Master Ball for no reason. With the world now saved, I now have one obstacle left for me to finish off this challenge, and it is the battle against Captain B's ghost types. But just like Cypress, I can skip you guys the lame commentary for this one and say that Grimmsnarl after 2 bulk ups here just spams full surrenders and sucker punches here, with the exception of Sableye who dies to a play rough, and that's how I beat a Pokemon Frontier Hardcore Nuzlocke using only fairy types. This type was honestly more fun than I thought it would be, even though the only downside I have for them is that they do take some time to level up, considering how it was painful to train up Hatterene throughout the run, but in the end it was well worth it. If you guys reached this far into the video, why not drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.